What's going on, guys? Rob A here, and today we're taking a look at Zoids Aggressive Hayate Liger. This is Zoids Aggressive number 2, or 002, I guess, is the official numerical designation for this figure. So it's basically the second of the Zoids Aggressive line, and they've got numbers 3 and 4 already in the works. We've got the Mugen Liger, as well as a Blade Liger, which is actually really cool to see them kind of branching out from the Genesis series. However, I would love to see more Genesis Zoids outside of the Ligers kind of come out of that Zoids Aggressive line. So basically what Zoids Aggressive is, if you're not aware, they are fully assembled action figures of Zoids models, I guess. So it's not a model kit. It's pre-assembled. It's highly articulated. It's more along the lines of like a Figma or Figuarts. It's fully painted as well, and you can see there's some really nice detailing in there. And yeah, and they're a little bit smaller, of course, than your typical Zoids model kit as well. But they're a lot more durable. Like, you can actually kind of play around with them and get some really nice poses for display and things like that. So on the side here, you can see some nice shiny red. I apologize for my my reflection there. It's going to be, that's what happens when they put shiny stuff all over things. So, all right, so you've got Hayate Liger on the side here, 1/100 scale full action figure. So it's 1/100 scale, and I believe typical Zoids are like 1/72 scale. So it is, of course, a bit smaller. And on the back here, you can kind of see some of the different poses and things like that you can get out of this guy, and little image of his inner skeleton and the armor pieces and things like that, and just some different poses and all that fun stuff. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get this guy open, and we will check him out right now. Alright, so opening the box, you can actually see, I want to point out this first, and it's hard to kind of make out past my t-shirt, but modeling by Maruya. Sorry, Maruya. I don't know if that's, I assume that's who designed this particular figure, but I don't know for sure, so there you go. Opening it up, you can see nice little bits on here. Bits, I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. You should just watch this thing on mute. You want to see what this looks like? Just watch. Don't listen. Alright, so pulling this guy out of the package, you can see it's in a nice little clear clamshell here. We've got instructions on how to probably attach the various pieces that come separate. There we go. Let's take a quick look at this, just in case there's important information here. I don't really suspect that there will be, but you never know. So here you go. It just kind of explains some of the base articulation of the body. It shows you, everything that moves, all this other stuff, and of course the little input peg. So, oops. I'll show you guys that. Right here, there's a little, not a clip, but like a little plug that just goes in the underside of the Liger, and that will allow you to attach an action stand or anything else. We've got the tail here, of course. This is probably a bendable wire, if it's anything like the Murasame Liger. And you've got the two Murasame blades here, which attach via these tiny little keyed posts. I'm a little bit concerned about how those are going to stay on long term, but hopefully it won't be a problem, and we'll be able to just kind of enjoy what's going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here and get him out of the packaging and stuff like that. So I'll see you guys right in now. Okay, guys, so here we have Hayate Liger, and I'll just do a quick turnaround so you guys can see everything that's going on here. Now, do note that this guy does not actually come with a figure stand. This stand was from my Monster Arts Godzilla, so I just kind of grabbed it to use here. But you can use any number of stages, action stages from Tamashi, and those will do just fine. Just like I've got for my Murasame Liger, who I'll bring on in here so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So here's Murasame Liger, and of course Hayate Liger as well. So let's take a look at the figure up close here. And to do that, I'm just going to pop him off of the stand real quick so you guys can get a better look. So he is a highly articulated figure here, and as you can see, all of his little bits and bobs do move around. He's got all the he's got extending fan blades in his back legs, his rear legs here. I don't believe the front leg fans. Oh, they do extend as well. Okay. I was just having a hard time. It's difficult to actually get your fingers in there because they do butt up against these little kind of like venting bits here. But you can kind of grab onto them or stick something in there and grab those and pull them out. But they do extend, and then you just stick them back. So when he's, just like in Zoids Genesis, the show, when he's doing his little transformation, those will extend out. When he's doing his like special attack. He's also got these boosters on the back here with these little wings. But the only problem with these is that it's awesome in the show, all these cool details that they add to these Zoids, but when you actually get into like a real model of it, you start to find that stuff bangs into each other a lot. So these are great little additions, but they really get in the way. So you can just close those fans up and close the wings up and kind of maneuver these onto the back a little bit. So they are on a couple of joints here. You can see they rock forward and back and also side to side. And they have a little bit of motion as well, like as far as rotating on this pivot as well. I know it's kind of hard to see, but just take my word for it. So you can move these back farther to kind of get them out of the way of the head, but they do tend to kind of get in the way a lot, which is a little bit annoying. So the head is beautifully done, as you can see. Lots of nice blades coming off of this thing here. The mouth does open and close, of course. The top of the head does open up to reveal the pilot seat. There's no pilot figure for these. It's just too small. Like, this really tiny seat in there. You can just close that up, and it looks good. The head does have a nice range of motion here. It doesn't go up or down very much, especially up because of the blades on the top of the head. But it does go down a decent amount, but just not too much. You mostly get the movement from side to side, and of course you can get the rotation here, so you can kind of make it look like he's looking up a little bit more if you just turn the head to the side, But again, all of these different blades and things will kind of bang into the shoulders and the backpack and all this other stuff. So just be warned about that. We've got some very nice, very sharp, like everything on this figure is legitimately super pointed and just very nicely detailed. The midsection here, I'll just show underneath, does have a lot of nice range of motion here. Pretty much it's all going to be basically the same articulation as the Murasame Liger. So if you're familiar with that, you kind of know what to expect. But so these things kind of collapse up, the segments of the torso. They kind of collapse up to kind of make that a little more solid, but you can pull them apart a little bit and get a lot of motion out of that your rear half of the body there. So that is very cool. The legs, of course, are on multiple joints. Up here you've got a ball joint at the shoulder socket attaching to the body, and then you've got kind of a universal kind of stalk and pivot with another pivoting joint inside the actual arm itself to get quite a lot of motion out of those legs. So they can spread apart quite far, which is very nice. And then of course you can kind of close them in up against the body, and they can still rotate just fine if you want those more like casual poses, I guess. Yeah, so he's also got some nice articulation in the legs themselves. So let's take a look at that real quick here. And we'll move the blades out of the way. So he does have this kind of first joint here. I'll move that up. You get that first joint, you get the second joint, which is blocked a little bit by the armor here at the elbow, but it's really not bad. You still get a ton of motion out of there. And of course this double jointed foot, which is great. So you get this regular swinging joint here, and then you've got a ball joint at the actual foot itself, so you can get those claws into pretty much any any kind of position that you'd want, which is really, really cool. And my worries about the blades on the legs were really unfounded, because it turns out that they were keyed in such a way that they can only be removed by actually turning it to, so it's basically you put it onto the keyed peg, and then once you turn it, it locks it in place. So you'd have to go exactly to that key position, which is an unnatural position, like so. So you can see you'd have to put it just like that, which is kind of a weird position to have that blade facing, but once you turn it, it locks it into place, and then you don't have to worry about it accidentally being pulled off or falling off. So really, really well done there. Really nice job with that. He does have the two different sized blades, one on each leg, front leg. So that's really, really cool. And they can fold up and out of the way however you like, whatever you wish. Let's get these folded back up. But yeah, again, like if I had one big complaint about this guy, it would be two complaints about this guy, and that is that well, the stuff really does tend to get in its own way a lot of the time, and the joints are not as tight as I would like. I would really like to see a little more tightness on these joints, because he does tend to once you get one part of him in a position that you like, it's really easy to knock that out of position while you're moving something else. So it would just be nice for stiffer joints all around, in my opinion. There you go. And the back legs, of course, are the same. The stalk and pivot system with the upper joint here. It's kind of hard to hold this guy in position. You got the upper joint here. You got another joint at the well, I guess what would be the foot, but it's a bit limited. And then of course the toes are on that super nice stalk and ball joint system, so you get a nice range of motion out of those. So really, really nicely done articulation wise. But again, it can be difficult to get him into kind of resting positions, or like resting standing positions, just because those joints want to move with the slightest touch. But like I said, you can get some really nice poses out of this guy, and once you've got everything kind of massaged into place, it becomes, really, really a nice looking figure. It's just a matter of getting everything there. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna hold off on any recommendations until I actually get maybe Mugen Liger in hand and see if they've enhanced any of these joints. I mean, it's a really nice looking figure, but it's a little bit fiddly, and that can be a problem. Once you've as long as you have one of these, and I think it's a real bummer that it does not include a stand, because I think the stand would actually alleviate a lot of the problems that I have with it, because once it's kind of up in the air and it's not trying to support its weight on the legs, then it's a lot easier to kind of manipulate the limbs however you like, and then get it into a pose that you're looking for. Even if you're, say, just bringing it down in order to just have its feet on the ground. If you get a a stand that can maintain that kind of a low profile pose, you know, something like that. So even if you're doing something on that end, that would be fine. But I think this figure would overall really benefit from a included stand, which unfortunately it does not. You can get stands in sets of 3 for like $15 on Amazon, so you can just take a look at those. But other than that, I mean, it's a cool figure. It just suffers quite a bit from floppiness, which even the original, even the Murasame Liger, does not have that problem. Like, his joints are staying put, you know, when I move them. Like, he does not suffer from the same problem. So it's a bit unfortunate, but overall, I mean, I do like the figure for what it is. I just really think they could use a little polishing up, little tightening up of those joints, and it would be a much more recommendable figure. So yeah, now that I've rambled on, I want to thank you. That's going to do it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help me out. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more. Like I said, they've got more of these Zoids Aggressive figures coming out in the next couple of months, so stay tuned for those. In the meantime, thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.